Hey guys, we're taking a look at what I think is the third Gremlin in as many months from NECA Toys today, taking a look at the new and exclusive Ultimate Gamer Gremlin, and being a gamer Gremlin, it's exclusive to Gamestop in the States. So we've got him here in our Ultimate style packaging. We have got a great front artwork here from Jason Edmiston, which kind of mimics the classic Gremlins poster, and then the back of the box mimics a vintage video game box as well, with a bit of a write-up for Gremlins, and then a Pac-Man theme, and then a bunch of product shots. And then being an Ultimate package, we do have a front flap, so you've got the Ultimate Gamer Gremlin there on the inside, and then you've got the figure itself front and center in that big window. So great presentation as usual. I love these boxes, very collector friendly. So let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our gamer Gremlin from NECA Toys. And if you've seen my recent Gremlin reviews for the Ultimate Gremlin and for the Ultimate Stripe figure, you pretty much know what to expect here, especially if you saw the review for the first Gremlin, because these figures are basically the exact same. You can really count this thing as mostly an accessory pack that comes with another Gremlin, which frankly is not a bad thing. Just one way to kind of differentiate the two is that they come with wildly different accessories, but the figures are basically the same. Just they're one of the many nameless Gremlins out there. So we're going to run through all the normal stuff. We're going to run through articulation real quick because, again, we've seen it a number of times already, and then we'll get into all the really cool stuff. So we'll start at the head, and you have got a head that can go up all the way, go down, rotate around, rotate at the neck. You've got ears that can hinge and rotate a little bit. You do, of course, have that nice hinged jaw, which is really, really fantastic. Arms go out, they swivel. You've got a hinge and swivel at the elbow. You have got rotation and swivel at the, or hinge at the wrist. And this is another instance of the figure showing that they are very similar, because these joints are really, really super tight. Even after heating this guy up, he still has a lot of resistance. So watch out when you're doing this, especially on the elbows and the wrists and the knees. We've got a twist at the waist, or it's really the diaphragm. He goes forward and backward pretty well. He's got a lot of side-to-side rotation there. Legs go out, forward and backward. He, of course, has, kind of like the dog knees thing. The knees go back, they rotate. These kick forward and rotate. And then you've got a ball peg down here, so give you a little bit of a rocker, and then hinge a little bit, and then of course rotation from side to side. So he does have all the same articulation that I expected to find. He's not any different than the other figures. The real similarities lie in the fact that they have the same incredibly, incredibly tight joints, which frankly, once you get past them, they're not a problem. But at the same time, you don't want to forget about them and tear your Gremlin apart. Sculpt and paint-wise, this guy is just as amazing as the Ultimate Gremlin, as Ultimate Stripe. Again, he is very, very, very similar. If anything, the only real differences that I can tell, unless I'm just completely missing it, is that some of the paint applications are slightly different. Nothing too crazy, though, just, minor paint variations, like between figures, between examples, basically. The one big thing that I saw difference is that these lines on the top of the head, the brown outline is thicker on this guy than it is on my regular Ultimate Gremlin, which, again, it's just one of those little variances that occurs between figures. This could be an intended change, but it's also very, very minor. Other than that, it has the same amazing sculpt that we've seen throughout the figures so far. A lot of great paint applications in the stripes that run down, in the big emblazoned, kind of patchwork on the chest there, the scales that run down the legs. You've got the little Gremlin's tail, weird, nasty tail that sticks out the back, out of the butt of this thing with all of the patchwork. You've got the great detail on the ears there, and just, it's a fantastic sculpt. There's really not much you can say negative about this guy. I don't really think there's anything you can say negative about how he looks. This thing is as close to a shot-for-shot recreation of a Gremlin in plastic at this scale that I think you're ever going to find. NECA really does a fantastic job when it comes to these figures. From the neck down. Even from the neck up, though, it's better. The body is great, the arms are great, all the limb work, all of the paint work is fantastic, but the faces and the heads on these guys are just next level. It's really fantastic. All of the nasty scale work, the kind of rocky texture to the skin in there, those blood red eyes. Of course, you've got the mouth there, which does have a little bit of a difference between the figures. This one has a slightly orange hue to the inside of the mouth, where my other Gremlins have kind of a pinkish hue. So again, it's one of those just little minor changes, but not enough to really say it's hugely different. You got those big elephant ears that stick out, and it's just, I mean, it's a great look, and it's a solid figure. The sculpt is on point. Everything about this guy is about as perfect as it gets. You know, every time I play with one of these figures, when I look at it, I really wonder how they packed this amount of detail into this price point. And I'm going to be hard pressed to not put these guys on my top 10 list this year. I think that NECA has truly thrown down the gauntlet when it comes to, you know, what they can do with this particular property. Now, where this figure really shines, though, is not in just the fact that it's a stellar figure and it's a great army builder type figure if you want to have a horde of gremlins. It's the fact that this thing comes jam-packed with a slew of crazy accessories, just like the Ultimate Gremlin, but of course, they're very different accessories. And you can see I've already got a few on him. So he's got a pair of shades that you can put on, and they do wrap around the head. They sit very snugly, and he's got, you know, kind of the little nerd cap here. It sits okay. It basically just sits on top of the head, so you kind of want to position it and angle it so that you see it sit flush. And then it's got the little propeller that spins on the top, which, I mean, come on, the simple fact that it does that is worth the price of admission, I think. One thing that I'm really excited to see with this figure, though, is that he comes with extra hands. And of course, these can be used with your other gremlins, too. So we've got a more gripping style of left hand. It's a little different kind of grip. It's going to be used for different things. And then you've got a more open palm style right hand, which you can use with other accessories to help him palm stuff in his hand and to hold things in a more flat manner, if that makes any sense. But he does have some really specific accessories too. We have another instance of this guy coming through. We've got another cola cup, which I think this is just stellar to begin with. What they do to make this look like an actual cup of soda is really fantastic. We have got maybe my favorite of the accessories so far in this guy. We've got the popcorn bucket. So you can see it's pretty big, and it's got a great, you know, vinyl decal on it. But you can pop the popcorn out, and you can pop this thing over his head and make his eyes stick through the holes. You know, it's kind of recreating more scenes with Gremlins, and I think that's just fantastic that they do that kind of stuff. It's just a really cool thing. You know, I love this kind of stuff. NECA really goes all out when it comes to the accessories for these guys. You have got an Atari-style Gremlins game. Of course, it's a NECA brand Gremlins game, and you've got Stripe chasing Gizmo down there, which is really cool. So he can use, you know, he can use this hand a little better to hold it, and he can hold it in this hand pretty well. So they give you options on how you can hold some of these. And then we have got an Atari-style joystick to go along with that, which this is just stellar. I think this is really cool. It's small enough that this will work with other figures as well. It might be a little oversized for some stuff, but I think this is one of those accessories that NECA has given that will work across lines, which I'm all for. And then maybe the most impressive accessory that we have is this. So, you know, one of the solo tabletop style arcade games, this is the Fail Guy, and there's all kinds of different vinyl decals all over it, and it just looks like it jumped right out of the 80s. But what's coolest about this, maybe not the coolest, but the most surprising thing is the joystick moves. It's a ball peg, and you can actually make him play it. So that is just fantastic. This, again, is one of those things that's kind of worth the price of admission. The figure is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about what NECA's doing when it comes to Gremlins right now, but the accessories these guys are pumping out with these things are truly, truly worth it. They really beef up the package and make an already fantastic figure into something much more. So obviously, I'm a big fan of this figure, I'd say. I'm pretty sure that's obvious at this point. I think we have another fantastic entry into this line. I do think that this figure is really, you know, one of those ways that NECA kind of gets some mileage out of this particular mold, because again, we have seen this figure before. But it's not a bad thing because it's a Gremlin, so you probably want more than one to begin with, and this is a great way to get someone to buy a second one just because it has all this extra stuff that you can use with other figures in the line. Some of this stuff I think you can probably use with other lines in general, and it's just a fun figure. There's really nothing to say bad about this except for the continued stiff joints, which of course you can work around. Don't get me wrong, you can fix that problem, but at the same time, I know some folks are going to go into these and maybe not know to do that. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind before you mess around with your figure. Heat the joints up on this thing, but otherwise I think everybody who gets their hands on this thing will absolutely love him. He's a fantastic toy. So that's going to do it for this look at the GameStop exclusive Ultimate Gamer Gremlin from NECA. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.